Where's my beverage? Hey guys, welcome to Horror Movie Rewind. I'm Dustin. This is my second attempt at the first video. First one was a little choppy. I used the teleprompter and ended up sounding like Ron Burgundy. So I'm going to go old school. You can't see it, but now I've got poster board in front of me. See how that works, so I can remember this stuff. I mean, I wrote it, but anyways, nevertheless. On this channel, I want to do reviews. I want to do theories. I want to do funny clips, did you know kind of stuff. And I definitely want it to be interactive. I want people to give me hell. Tell me if I'm wrong. Debunk things in the comment section. Tell me if I fucking nailed it. Just don't be mean to each other. Please don't be shitheads. Like, we're all here for the same reason. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of good friends. And to be honest, almost none of them give a damn about what I'm about to speak on. That's what gave me the inspiration to start this. I just want to talk to people that care about the same thing I do. So just be sweet to each other. And obviously, if you like, it would be a big help if you subscribe.
This is Loomis?
Yeah, so to the point, this is going to be a theory video. You can read the title I sent him, so you kind of know where I'm going to go with this. But the point is, Linda Blair has a cameo about 39 minutes and some odd seconds into the first film in the franchise. She plays the character titled Obnoxious Reporter, I think. I'm not even sure if the credits bill her that. Maybe like IMDb or like online sites do. Point is, like, she doesn't have a name, and she appears. We'll get to that part in a minute at a curious time in the film. But I think she's on the screen for 5 seconds, and that's pretty much the last you hear from her. Except I don't really think so. She's not required to have any plot presence or like relevance because it's Linda Blair. She's a fucking icon. However, again, I don't think that that's the case. Just for the sake of this video, I don't know if there were plans or if, like, you know, it's just one of those little things they wedged in, but I think there's more to that character. This video is not so much about Linda Blair as it is a character she portrays. I don't think the first time that you saw Nancy Loomis, she was being portrayed by Laurie Metcalf in Scream 2. And now I'm going to tell you why. All right, so I'll start selling you the snake hole with the most obvious and superficial similarities between the two characters that I'm saying are the exact same, being Linda Blair's character in Scream and Laurie Metcalf's Nancy Loomis in Scream 2. First of all, they look a hell of a lot alike. They have very similar haircuts. I mean, really the only difference is Linda Blair's was a little more, but parted the same way, same color, same short. I'm not going to call it, well, White Metcalf's was kind of a pixie cut, but very damn similar, right? They also have the same affinity for blazers. Oh, we only see like Linda Blair's character once. I mean, she's rocking that zebra or whatever the hell you want to call it. But almost every time, unless she's wearing like a trench, Laurie Metcalf's character is wearing a blazer as well. Now, that might have just been the times, like what female reporters wore. And it is what it is. But they look a lot alike, especially the hair color, haircut, that. And, I mean, the most obvious is they have the same occupation. One more thing before we segue into the occupation aspect of the theory, before we leave the appearance aspect, is one of the weirder scenes, honestly, in the whole franchise to me, and I think it kind of feeds into what I'm trying to say. And it's the dual reveal at the end of Scream 2. You not only find out that the reporter, local woman, as Gail called her, which would make sense, but you find out that the reporter's the accomplice to Mickey's character, and you also find out at the same time that it's Nancy Loomis. The strange part about that is after you get the like fake out, like false reveal, thinking that it's Courtney Cox's Gail Weathers, only to find out that she's got a gun to her back. Out walks Nancy Loomis. You don't know that yet until Sydney says, "Miss Loomis?" Gail looks at her completely dumbfounded, and Sydney says,
I've seen pictures of you. This is 60 pounds and a lot of work later.
Yeah, so I've always been confused by that line. How the fuck would she know that? Uh, highly doubt they got together for brunch in between the events of the first and the second film, especially considering Nancy Loomis's motive in Scream 2 is revenge for her son Billy, and she is now actively trying to put a buck 120 in Sydney's body as many times as she possibly can. Well, until I thought about this. So no one ever said that Nancy Loomis was a missing person. In fact, Billy just states that she left his father and himself in the first film. It's never stated that she ever left town. In fact, it's Sydney's lack of surprise and Gail's surprise, coupled with the immediate recognition of Sydney, of Nancy Loomis, that make sense that she never left town. Got to remember, Gail Weathers was not a resident of Woodsboro. In fact, I mean, the events of Scream 1 may have been the first time that she ever appeared there. Meanwhile, like, until Sydney went to college, and we're talking about her freshman year in Scream 2, apparently that's the only place she ever lived. So whether they liked it or not, Sydney and Nancy could have crossed paths. Well, basically the timeline of the whole mythology of Scream to that point in time, which we're talking about is probably only about 2.5 to 3 years. It's kind of just like the time that some reporter in Scream 1 accosted her and kind of acted like a maniac, and she had that same look of recognition on her face. Funny enough, that reporter was played by Linda Blair.
School, you'll be safe here.
So how does it feel to be almost brutally butchered? People want to know. They have a right to know. How does it feel?
Just one.
All right, so I'm going to try to tether all this together. And the shit you can get on my face, I'm laughing because this is actually the second, almost third day that I've been filming this. I've been putting these same fucking clothes on for some reason, like it matters, to make it look like the same video. And at this point, I'm just like laughing about it myself. So I figured I'd tell you and you could get a kick out of it. I just ran into a lot of things. Again, this is my first video, and this one's going to be the first video, and it's going to stick. But yeah, I'm going to put these rags on again just to look like it's organic. But I'll get there, and I appreciate you sticking with me if you made it this far. And I'm now going to try to tether like my point together. We've already talked about similarities, superficial stuff, and all that. But like that scene we just witnessed before I just admitted to you that I've been dressing like a hobo for the last couple of days is pretty important to my plight. That and what I'll wrap it up with after this. And that's because like that Linda Blair character, obnoxious reporter, it comes at a point that is either awfully like ironic and coincidental, or maybe there was going to be or supposed to be something to it. But again, Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson, the writer, and Wes Craven being the director, they're pretty clever dudes. They're funny. They got like senses of humor. And it'll be a slide on them to say that like they didn't already have the script for 2 written and had no idea that, or no, had an absolute idea, that Linda Blair wouldn't be playing a character known as Nancy Loomis. But at the same time, you never know. Like weird things happen. Like again, maybe there was a hiccup in her schedule. I don't know. I didn't look up what she was filming at the time, or maybe it was just kind of fucking with us. Nevertheless, to my point, that doesn't change the fact that the character could have been Nancy Loomis. And I kind of sold myself on it. And like, this is the first part about that scene I want to discuss, is the fact that it's nothing to do with that scene. It's the scenes that came directly before. And we'll back up a little bit before what my main point is the first time Sydney's attacked, Ghostface tries to enter shit at her dad's house. Billy Loomis pops up, playing hero role. She's having fucking none of it. They go to the police station. He gives her puppy dog eyes. Nah, she turns her head. She goes home with Dewey and Rose McGowan's character, Tatum. That was Dewey's sister. Everybody knows her from the garage scene. And while they're like having a slumber party, essentially, someone calls, asks for Sydney, and it's Roger's voice on the screen modulator. And you already know then, oh shit, well, this isn't something we'd seen before. Or either you thought, well, I mean, none of us did. We didn't know what was going to happen. But it made it seem as if Billy Loomis really wasn't responsible for it. Again, we know how it turns out in the end, but neither us nor the characters had any idea of a second party being Stu Macher. The next morning, they're having breakfast, and funny enough, there's like a little box TV on, and there's like some current affair inside edition, like kind of like just trash news program on. And this is the first time I think that we see, I know that we see Cotton Weary played by Lee Schreiber. And he's in Prison Orange. And they absolutely name drop Sidney Prescott and say that she was pretty much responsible, not only for the fact of his incarceration and his conviction, but the fact that he was handed down the death penalty. Well, at that very moment, you have David Arquette walk down playing Dewey and like hesitant and tentative and like,
You mean timid? You fucking idiot.